إن الحمد لله نحمده حمدا كثيرا طيبا كما يستحق كل محامد والذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق وبلغ رسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده وترك الأمة على البيضاء ليلها كنهارها ولا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك صلى الله على نبينا وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. طيب my brothers, last week we covered two chapters on vow. The first one was vow. What's the ruling of vow? Ruling, when I say ruling, is the major shirk or minor shirk?
Minor shirk.
Minor shirk. طيب. Can vow lead to major shirk?
Yeah, in your heart you glorify what you vowed upon more than Allah.
Okay. So vow can lead to major shirk if depend on the person how much is glorifying that thing he is vowing with. So if someone were to vow by Allah's name, how would you say it in Arabic? No. How would you swear by Allah? Wallahi. You want to say Wallahu, Wallahi. How would you say, it's not allowed, but if someone were to say, swear by Kaaba? Wal Kaabati. Yeah. So the kasra must be there. So wow qasam. Tayyib. If someone were to swear by Allah that he did not do that, should we accept that? Or should we argue? No, brother, you are making a mistake. If someone were to vow and he said he suspected about something, or you heard him something say, something which is wrong against you maybe, and you said, Wallah, you said this about me. He said, Wallah, I never said that. What should you do at that time?
Should you take what you said, because you said Wallah?
So you should accept it. Who remember the story? Do you remember the story we mentioned regarding some? No?
Like Isa alayhi salam, he said that Isa alayhi salam told him you stole, and the next man said Wallahi I didn't, and then Isa alayhi salam accepted it. He said,
Accepted, yeah.
I was wrong.
Lying to myself, yeah. So Isa, being Rasulullah, he could have argued it, but he didn't. The moment he said Wallahi, by Allah, La ilaha, he said Allah. So yeah, we have to falyarda. He should be happy with that. If he lies, then obviously Allah. What is the ruling of the one who swear by Allah but something wrong? He said Wallahi, I went there, but he didn't went there. Wallahi, I did not say it, but he said it. It's a sin. You shouldn't. Prophet said, "Falyasduq." Okay, let him be truthful what he says. But it is sin, yeah. Then say, Hadith, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَرْضَ فَلَيْسَ مِنَ اللَّهِ. If he's not happy with the fact he's saw by Allah, and he didn't accept, he's not happy with that, he's not from Allah Azza wa Jalla. What does that mean?
It's a major sin.
It's an act of major sin. When Hadith is saying you're not from Allah, then it means that you did act of major sin. He's not from Allah Azza wa Jalla. I mean, he's not doing something that is from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Is against the Sharia of Allah. طيب. Then we spoke about Mashi'a, MashaAllah wa Shaykh. We understand that anyway. We should thumma Shaykh. We've covered that properly, MashaAllah. Okay, quickly, Yahud. Who are the Yahud?
Son of Yaqub, another interpretation there from the Bani Israel.
They are from son of Yaqub alayhi salam. Okay. Yahud, now Yahuda, they are part of Bani Israel. Yeah. But the word Yahud, where does it come from? Attribute to what?
Belief.
Okay, some say it's a belief, yeah. But it's not, to attribute to what? What did Yahuda? So Yahud, they attribute to Yahuda. Who is Yahuda? The older son of Yaqub. The second attribution is okay, actually, one knows it. Do you remember? No, no. This ayah in the Quran. What's the ayah? Inna hudna ilayk. So they take this ayah and they said, Yahud, they call Yahud because they repented to Allah. Because the hudna hada Yahud, to repent. Tubna, anabna ilayk. So they say, they call Yahud because they turn back to Allah. The followers of Musa alayhi salam, they turn back to Allah. They're Yahud. That's the second. طيب, Israel, just addition to that, who are the Israel? Ya Bani Israel. Go on. Yaqub alayhi salam. The children of Yaqub alayhi salam. Okay, Israel, what does it mean?
Isn't that another name of Yaqub?
Yeah, what does it mean?
I'm not sure.
It's Abdullah. Ibn Abbas said as well. Shawkani mentioned as well in his tafsir, Fathul Qadir. So the two words form Israel. Isra, Abd, Il, Allah. This is the language. So Abdullah. So now the name for Ishaq is Abdullah. Yaqub, Abdullah. طيب. Last question is, what's the difference between Mashi'a and Irada? Azhar, do you remember?
Mashiach is to do with the qadr of Allah. And you mentioned there's two types, qawniya and shar'iyya.
Mashi'a.
Now Mashiach is to do with the qadr of Allah.
And Irada?
Irada is to do with the qada.
And so Irada is Kawniyya and Shar'iyya. So when we say Irada Kawniyya, universal decree, that means Mashi'a. Okay? And Irada Shar'iyya, that refers to the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Well, we gave example of that, didn't we? So if you are clear with that, inshallah. Yeah, if you don't know, I'll explain again. Well, let's start the class. More on Wasati, all this will come. طيب. باب chapter من سب الدهر فقد أذى الله. Whoever cursed the time has harmed Allah Azza wa Jalla. We took a what harming Allah mean. طيب. When we say ad-dahr refers to time, year, month, week, night and day. These are all called dahr, time. Now, cursing the time is not from al-Islam. And a lot of the time people curse that weather, isn't it? And slip of a tongue, it comes. We don't realize. And the ulama have explained certain times you can mention something like that, okay, which is allowed. For example, Shaykh here mentions that first, cursing times are three types. Okay, falls under three categories. Al-awwal an yaqsuda al-khabr mahd dun al-lawm. That he mentions, his intention is to mention the news without blaming it. Then this is allowed. مثل أن يقول تعبنا من شدة الحر هذا اليوم أو برد. That we have become tired because of extreme heat today. So he's talking about the weather today. But it's a khabar, it's a news mentioning that actually we are feeling today. Actually the news that you're telling, that's happening today. Hot weather made us weak or made us tired. Something like that. And we find this in the Quran. Allah is talking about Lut alayhi salam. هذا يوم عصيب. This is a difficult day. He's talking about the day. This is a difficult day. So he's not blaming the day, but he's just mentioning that it's a difficult day. Okay? Why is he saying that, Lut alayhi salam? Because as we know, people of the Lut, they were gays. Okay? And Lut alayhi salam wanted to prevent them. And when Malaika came, in the form of a man, beautiful. So they went for the Malaika, the form of human being. And Yadu Billah, and obviously, and Lut said, هذا يوم عصيب, this difficult day. They're looking for something they shouldn't be. A'udhu Billah, looking for, So he described the day to be difficult day because of what they're doing. So in Bab al-Khabar, pure news without blaming anything, it's okay. Okay? For example, you're a teacher and you're trying to teach the kids and they're not listening to you. هذا يوم عصيب, هذا يوم صعب, هذا يوم, this difficult day. You could say something like that. هذا يوم التعب. Today is the tiring day. Something like that. You just mention the news that you're feeling today. الثاني أن يسب الدهر على أنه هو الفاعل. So the second one, Shaykh mentioned that he cursed the time as if the time is the doer. This month, this weather is causing all this. Okay? So he's blaming the time. This is a curse. This is because he believes everything that is happening, he's blaming the time. Blaming the weather, the month, the year, whatever it is. He's blaming it. And this is فهذا الشرك الأكبر لأنه اعتقد أن مع الله خالقا. That this is major shirk because he has believed that there is a creator beside Allah or with Allah Azza wa Jal. Because everything that happens in the heaven and the earth is by the will of Allah. So when you curse the time, blaming the time because the time is doing all this, then this is major shirk. And Allah described the Yahud with this. وَمَا يُهْلِكُنَا إِلَّا الدَّهْرِ. The Yahud says, we live and die, nothing will perish us except the time. So they gave this dominion of destruction to the hand of to the time, not to Allah. Allah is the one who caused all this. Every power, everything happened by the will of Allah Azza wa Jal. But when you say the time will perish us, we're just going to die, get old, and time will just take us away. A'udhu Billah, this Allah takes you away. By the will of Allah you're going to die, not the time. So this is attributed to the Yahud. That's what they have said. And this is major shirk. Okay, this type of cursing the time is major shirk. The third one is that أن يسب الدهر لا لاعتقاده أنه الفاعل. Third is that he curses the time not because the time does all this, but he believes that it's the mean or something like that. Okay, it's the mean. There's no mean. It's Allah. Everything happened by the will of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Okay, there's no mean in here. Wasila. But this is haram. Shaykh, this is haram. It doesn't lead, وَلَا يَسِلُ إِلَى دَرَجَةِ الشِّرْكِ. It doesn't lead to shirk, level of shirk. So last two is haram. The first one is allowed, Bab al-Khabar. طيب? So cursing the time is something that Allah Azza wa Jal forbade in the Quran. Now in the Quran Allah said, a ayah which Allah He mentioned about himself that he's harmed and his messenger is harmed. Another verse, if he negates it, and hadith negates it. Allah said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُؤْذُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ لَعَنَهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ وَأَعَدَّ لَهُمْ عَذَابًا مُهِينًا. Allah said, as for those who harm Allah and His messenger, Allah has cursed them in this life and hereafter, and Allah has prepared humiliation punishment for them. So in this ayah, Allah affirmed harm to Himself, isn't it? And then we have another ayah, Surah Al-Imran, ayah 176, إِنَّهُمْ لَن يَضُرُّوا اللَّهَ شَيْئًا, that they will not able to harm Allah at all. Nothing is able to harm Allah Azza wa Jalla at all. In Hadith Qudsi, Sahih Muslim, Abu Dharr, the long hadith, when Allah said, Ya ibadi, innakum lan tablughu darri fatadarruni. O my slave, you cannot reach to a level where you can harm me. Okay? So, last two evidence negates from himself. The first one he affirmed. What does it mean when Allah affirmed harm for himself. No one can harm Allah Azza wa Jal. No one can touch Allah. Allah is free from all the harm. Okay? But this ayah explained by Ibn Abbas in Tafsir al-Baghawi. So he explained when Allah said they harm Allah and His Messenger, means that فسرها ابن عباس هم اليهود والنصارى والمشركون. أما اليهود قولهم عزير بن الله ويد الله مغلولة، وأما النصارى عيسى بن مريم ابن الله وثالث وثلاثة، وأما المشركون ملائكة بنات الله. So Ibn Abbas explained this ayah, that's what harm mean here. So he said this ayah is talking about Yahud wa Nasara and the mushrikun. As for the Yahud, they say Uzair is son of Allah, hand of Allah is tight. Okay? As for the Nasara, they say Isa is son of Allah, is one of the third. As for the disbelievers, the Malaika is the daughters of Allah. Yadu billah. These wording is basically against the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal. It is earning wrath of Allah. Okay? Harm, you mean you're earning the wrath of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? You're talking against Allah. You are talking something that is you're creating lie against Allah Azza wa Jal. So Allah used the word adha, but darar, other physically, no one can harm Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? So like Ibn Qayyim says that the adha to Allah and the creation are two different things. Okay? Adha to Allah, harm to Allah is not a harm to the creation. Okay? It's a two different things. And so this is what Ibn Abbas explained when it comes to harming Allah Azza wa Jal. So now this ayah and this hadith, this ayah is like you have other ayahs. In tansurullah yansurkum wa yuthabbit aqdamakum, that if you aid Allah, Allah will aid you. It's like why does Allah need aid? But that's what it is. You need to understand what the aid here mean. Aid mean learning the deen, worshipping Allah, calling people to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? Someone who have no knowledge will say, how Allah is asking for aid from a human being. This is ayah like this, harming Allah Azza wa Jal. What does harming here mean? We need to go to tafsir. So the Mufassir explain aid of Allah is to learn your deen, practice your deen, call people to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. Also we have an ayah in the Quran, Allah said that وَمَنْ يُقْرِضُ اللَّهَ قَرَضًا حَسَنًا, who will give Allah a good loan. Some don't have knowledge will say, why does Allah want loan from us? He's Al-Ghani. But loan here means spend in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, things like that. You have a hadith as well like that. But you need to understand what it means. So cursing the time, okay, it can be major shirk. Okay, it can be minor. And you can mention, without cursing the time, you just can mention the news, what the day, how you feeling about the day, things like that. طيب. وفي الصحيح عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أنه قال قال الله تعالى يؤذيني ابن آدم. So this hadith, narrated Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, and hadith is Sahih hadith, and Prophet said that Allah said. So this is hadith Qudsi, that يؤذيني ibn Adam, son of Adam, they harm me. أن يلحق بي أذى. Okay, the أذى. فالأذية لله ثابتة ويجب علينا إثباتها. Shaykh says that harming Allah, applying to Allah is confirmed by Allah Azza wa Jal, and it's wajib upon us to accept that, affirm it, because Allah affirmed for Himself. Bani Adam harms me. لأن الله عز وجل أثبتها لنفسه. فلسنا أعلم من الله بالله, that we are not knowledgeable than Allah Azza wa Jal regarding Himself. ولكنها ليست كأذية المخلوق. But this adha is not like the adha of the creation. When the human being, when human being get harmed, it's different. But Allah is different as well. So the harm that applied to Allah is the same as the harm we apply to the creation. ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. There's nothing like Allah. Upon Allah, He's the one who hears everything, sees everything. So harming, when Allah applied to Himself harm, is talking about you're sinning, you're disobeying Allah, you're associating partners with Allah Azza wa Jal. Like the Ahlul Kitab, Jews and the Christian. What they do is adha to Allah, harm to Allah. They pass the boundary of Allah Azza wa Jal. They earn the wrath of Allah Azza wa Jal. That's what it is. The Bani Adam, they harms me. Yasubbu dahr. They curse the time, wa ana dahr. Now they curse in the time, we have explained it. Ana dahr, that I am time. Now does it mean that Allah is the dahr, He is the time? Dahr is not name of Allah. Okay? It is not name of Allah Azza wa Jal. It is, why is the name of Allah? Number one, Allah says in the Quran, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَ فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. To Allah belong the beautiful names and call by these names. Now Allah's names are beautiful. There are many reasons why they are beautiful. One is when you call by these names, Allah responds to your dua. Okay? It's beautiful names because these names of Allah, along with that attached sifat of Allah. So when you have named Allah, the sifa attribute is al-uluhiyya. When you have a name like Ar-Rahman, from that name you have attributes Rahmah. So Rahim, Rahmah. Ar-Razzaq, Razq. The provider, the attribute is Razq. Al-Ghafur, the forgiver, the attribute which is attached to the Al-Maghfirah. So all the names of Allah attached to it is attributes. Okay? So therefore it's beautiful name. Now, and plus the names of Allah, also they are attached with the verb. So Allah is derived from a verb. Aliha ya'lahu ilahan. Aliha, to worship Allah, it means to worship. Ilah is the one who derives the worship. So can you see the name now? Comes from a verb. Rahman, Rahima, Yarhamu. So all the names of Allah has a verb attached to it as well. Okay? As for ad-dahr, it doesn't have no verb. Dahr, the time. If you go to dictionary, you will not find dahara yadhar. No, you can't. It's just dahr. It just means time. It's basically stagnant. There's nothing there. There is no anything derived from it. Nor can you derive a name or attribute, nothing. So scholars have said that name of Allah derived from the attribute. Some say attributes is derived from the name of Allah. Either way, from Ahlul Sunnah, they all say this. Either one is correct. But this one, nor can you take a name from this. There's no verb for this. So this dahr is stagnant. It means, refers to time, month, year. That's what it is. So when Allah says an dahr, okay, next part of the hadith explains it. The Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah says, the verb, the doing word, uqallibu al-layla wal-nahar. So which means I change night and day. So ana dahr muqallib. Ad-dahr layla wal-nahar. Ana dahr muqallib. I am at time, I turn the night and the day. Okay? And night and the day are a sign of Allah Azza wa Jal. He created the night and the day. So He creates the night and day. He created night and day. He changed the night and day. That's what dahr, when Allah says I am dahr, meaning that I change night and day. The next part of the hadith explains what dahr is. He's the one who turns the night and the day. Night and the day, day and night, like this. Okay? So He is the creator of the night and day. Okay? Allah said, وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ مَعَاشًا. Allah said, I have made the night for you to rest, and I have created day for you to work. So He is the creator. Okay? Night comes by the will of Allah, day comes by the will of Allah. All this. So when Allah says, I am ana dahr, meaning ana muqallibu dahr, I am the one who changed the night and the day. Month and the day, all these times are changed by Allah Azza wa Jal. Huwa muqallib. So ad-dahr is not the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. وَبِهَذَا عَرَفَ الْخَطَأ مَنْ قَالَ. So having mentioned all this, we know the mistake for those who say ad-dahr min asma'illah. Dahr is the name of Allah. And one of the Imam made mistake, Ibn Hazm, and he believed dahr is from the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. He believes that. But that's his mistake. He made mistake. One of the Salaf, Mufassir of the Quran, he believes Mahir. Al-Mahir is the name of Allah as well. So they make mistake. May Allah forgive them. So, I mean, ad-dahr is not name of Allah. Okay, it just dahr means time. Okay, we've mentioned why it's not name of Allah. Okay, brothers. So going to the next hadith. وفي رواية لا تسبوا الدهر فإن الله هو الدهر. Do not curse the time. Indeed, Allah is the time. يعني فإن الله هو مقلب الدهر. He is the one who changed the time, night and the day, month and the year. It's come by the will of Allah. He changed it. Okay. So لا تسبوا is a prohibition here, and people fall into that a lot. They don't realize they curse the time. So that's part of our Tawheed, is that cursing the time can nullify perfection of your Tawheed, and cursing the time can nullify your authenticity of your Tawheed. So it's against Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal to curse the time. طيب. Continue with the next chapter, inshallah. التسمي بالقاضي القضاة ونحوه. The next chapter is calling somebody judge of the judge. Okay, judge of the judge. Now, this is another important part of our chapter, inshallah, because these names, and if it's not used properly, it can go against the Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal. First of all, Qadi from the word Qada. Qadi can be a judge, mean judge. Who are Qadi? But let's explain what Qada mean. Qada wal Qadr. Okay? Qada wal Qadr, scholars have said that one of the opinions is that Qada wal Qadr has no difference. This is what one of the opinions of Imam al-Zuhri, rahimahullah. He said that al-Qada wal Qadr huma mutaradifan la yanfak an ba'duhuma ba'd. That Imam al-Zuhri said that al-Qada wal Qadr, they are two same meaning. It means same thing. You cannot separate from one to another. You cannot separate them. They mean one thing, Imam al-Zuhri. Some say they're different between Qada and Qadr. Now when we talk about Qada comes in the Quran, doing good. Qada yaqdi. And Allah mentioned in the Quran, Qada means order. وَقَضَى رَبُّكُمْ وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. That your Lord has legislated, or your Lord has commanded you. Qada, he means he commanded you that you do not worship except Allah, okay, and you show goodness to your parents. So in this ayah, Allah commands us to worship Him alone without ascribing any partners. So Qada, he means command, wassa, he commanded. Also Qada comes in the Quran, comes in different meaning. Like Allah said in Surah Al-Isra, ayah 4, وَقَضَيْنَا إِلَى بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل. Okay, that we have here, وَقَضَيْنَا means we have informed Bani Israel in the book, لَتُفْسِدُنَّ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَّتَيْنِ, that they will cause fasad on earth twice. Okay, so his qada here means akhbara, yani informed. So you have different meaning of qada in the Quran. So when we talk about qada, the qadr has two meanings: qada kawniyya and shar'iyya. Qada kawniyya, universal decree, which means everything that happened in the heaven and the earth by the will of Allah, and is related to the universal decree, which means he can be happy with that, or he can be upset with that, not happy. So either rida, ghayr rida, happy or not happy. Okay. So for example, if someone became Muslim, then it's qada, Allah happy with that. And if there is a lot of, for example, whatever happened around the world nowadays, it's by the qadr of Allah. But Allah is not happy with that. Okay. So when you talk about qada that relate to the universal decree, it can be that Allah happy with that or He's not happy with that. Qada shar'iyya, and by the way, qada qawni, it can afflict everyone. So if there's a catastrophe that happens, like Hadith Aisha radiallahu anha, we read the Salihin, when we spoke about ikhlas and niyyah, when they will go and attack the Kaaba, okay, and they will come to a valley, okay, and it will sink. The earth will just come down. And Aisha heard that. He said, Ya Rasulullah, there will be people, innocent people, they're going to go along that as well. When the earth sunk, they're all going to go in there. He said, yes. Prophet said, yes, but they will be raised based on the intention. That's why the Imam now brings the hadith. Okay, those who went to attack the Kaaba, they will be raised as a victim, and those who were there just doing shopping, the intention was pure, they will be raised as pure. But did anyone was spared from that? No, everybody was, the Qada Kawni, everybody was affected. So when the earthquake happens, if you're in that area, doesn't matter how righteous you are, illa man rahimahullah, it's going to affect everyone. Okay? And for the believer, it's going to be expiation of the sin. So that's Qada Kawniya. If it's earthquake, flood, whatever, it will affect everyone. No one can be free from it. But whether Allah happy or not happy, that's where it falls. Qada Shar'iyya, not everyone will be affected by that. Meaning not everyone will become Muslim. But Qada Shar'iyya only relates to Sharia of Allah. Islam, the deen, the law. And He's only happy with that. So for example, Allah Azza wa Jalla created us. Is everyone worshipping Allah? No. Just because Allah created everyone to worship Him, not everyone worshipping Allah. But when they worship Allah, He's happy with that. Okay? So, these are the two types of qada, kawni wa shar'i. So, let's go into, this is just a side benefit, I'm just explaining the different type of qada, inshallah. Now, here in the hadith he said that, وَفِي الصَّحِيحِ عَنْ أَبِهِ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن أخنع الاسم عند الله رجل تسمى ملك الأملاك لا ملك إلا الله. Now here okay, hadith said that the Prophet said that indeed the most ugly name in the sight of Allah is when someone calls himself Malik al-Amlak, king of the king, and no king except Allah. Okay? Now, Allah is the Malik, Malik Yawmiddin. He's the king of the heaven and the earth. And Akhna is the most ugliest name which in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal. So basically this hadith teaches us that we're not allowed to call Malik al-Amlak. Okay, you can say somebody Malik al Bayt, Malik al Dar. You can say that, Malik al Kitab, owner of the book, owner of the house, or something like that. But when you say Malik al-Amlak, king of the king, that's Allah. Okay? But maybe you can say Malik al-Amlak of Saudiya, king of the king, or from the Saudiya, or Malik al-Amlak in Syria, or if you specify like that, maybe it's allowed, but ala itlaq, Malik al-Amlak, just to say like this, king of the king, la, it's only Allah Azza wa Jalla, la yajuz, haram. La Malik illa Allah. Also the Qadi al-Qudat, judge of the judge. Okay? Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen says, and the ulama is haram, but if someone says Qadi al-Qudat al-Fiqh, judge of the judge from the fiqh aspect, in the chapter of, in the subject fiqh, okay, something like that is allowed. Qadi al-Qudat Saudiya, okay, judge of the judge from the Saudiya, he said okay, or something like that. But to say al-itlaq, Qadi al-Qudat, Fulan, Qadi al-Qudat, the judge of the judge, no, that's haram. And that's only Allah. Only Allah is the Qadi al-Qudat. Tayyib. Like for example, we have titles given by the scholars, Shaykhul-Islam. Is this allowed? It's allowed. If we mean that this is Shaykhul-Islam, mean he's the Imam in every funun, every sciences. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, Ibn al-Qayyim, they have reached a level where they have mastered every science of the deen. They have reached that level. Shaykhul-Islam, they are given that title by the ulama. Okay? Imam, like Imam Ahmad, Imam Ahlul Sunnah. Okay? He deserves the title because Imam in every sciences. And he has at-Tawheed, the follower, he has effect in the da'wah. So he revived the deen. So this Shaykhul-Islam, this title, Imam, the reviver of the deen. So they deserve this title. And there's nothing wrong having this title, Hafiz. When we say Al-Hafiz, we mean the Hadith Al-Hafiz. The one who remembers all these Hadith, Ibn Hajar, remembered all these Hadith with Sanad. So he was given the title Al-Hafiz. So these titles are nothing wrong with that. But things like Malikul Amlak, these are shirkiyat, called King of the King. It's Allah. Qadi al-Qudat, the judge of the judge. It's only Allah Azza wa Jal. But as we have said, the scholars have said that if you specified Qadi al-Qudat, certain country, it's okay. Or the Qadi al-Qudat of the fiqh subject. That's okay. Shaykh says it here. Tayyib, brothers and sisters. Now Sufyan ibn Uyayna, I think, Sufyan ibn Uyayna says, he gives example, Mislu Shahan Shah, Shahan Shah. Shah is a king, okay? But if you add put two dots on the Ha, become Shat, become female sheep. So you have to be Shah. The word Shah means king. Shahan Shah, king of the king. Okay? So another example you can use, people use this name, A'udhu Billah. And this name cannot be given to anyone except Allah. So if someone says Shahanshah fil Medina, maybe it's acceptable making taqeed, like the Qadi al-Qudat. If you make a taqeed, tuqayyid, and then you specify it just for that land, then that's different. But al-itlaq to say Shahanshah, la, it's only Allah Azza wa Jalla. He's the only one, Shahanshah. Tayyib. So we learn something important. These names are used. We'll find next chapter, when I come back, inshallah. Companion given such a name, Prophet reprimanded them. He told them to change that name. This is only for Allah. Okay? Like Al-Hakam, things like that. We will cover this next time, inshallah. أغيظ رجل على الله يوم القيامة أخبثه. There is a narration which said that the person will attain the wrath of Allah the يوم القيامة is someone to have a name like that. You attain the ghayb, يعني wrath of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? أخنع, يعني discuss something despicable, to use certain name like that. It's not allowed. طيب? So these are chapters, very small chapters, my brothers. Okay? So these are the name where Shaykhul-Islam mentioned. The Prophet is mentioning these names in the Hadith. Okay? Malikul Amlak, La Malik illallah, Qadi al-Qudat. These are names that given, people use it, A'udhu Billah. But they don't know how to use it, they use it wrong time, for wrong places, so wrongly they use it. And that can be dangerous. So that's why it comes in the Hadith. Subhanallah. So Jazakumullah khair. Any clarification, inshallah, I'll clarify now. Anything. Jazakumullah khair. Go on. Yeah.
Can you go, so you know the three types of cursing? Could you go with the third one?
Cursing.
Yeah.
Oh, cursing, okay. The cursing, third one is that someone curses the time, but he doesn't believe the time is the Khaliq, the doer. He is just the mean. Okay, he believes it's a mean. I'm cursing it, but Allah is the doer, but that's just the mean. But even then, it's major sin, because there's no mean needed for Allah. There's no mean. When something will happen, it's not a mean. Allah happens everything by the will of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Okay? So time cannot be a mean. Okay, that's what it is here. Qada Shar'iyya related to the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So for example, all the legislation in the Quran are Qada. Qada Allahu, Allah legislated it. Okay, halal and haram, the ruling, Tawheed and Shirk, all ahkam from Allah Azza wa Jal. From the qadr of Allah, qadar of Allah Shar'iyya, a believer, Abu Bakr, the Iman of Abu Bakr, he accepted Islam, that's qada shar'iyya. Khadija, Aisha, the Sahaba, the Iman, they accepted the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal, that's qada of Allah, decree of Allah. But because related to Islam, qada shar'iyya. And Allah happy with that. One shaitan, Iblis disobeyed Allah to make sajda to Iblis. Which qada is that? Kawniyya. Allah is happy with this. But he happened by the will of Allah. Allah knew it's going to happen. But he chose to disobey Allah. Okay? So that's what qada kawniyya and shar'iyya is. Okay, akhi. Yeah.
Explain the difference between al-qada and al-qadar.
Qada wal qadar. One of the mean is written when it took place as in qadar. Something like that. Qada is written, qadar is when it takes place, something like that. Other way around, yeah. But something, there's no difference between qada wal qadar. We'll cover this more in the next book.
Also, I probably missed it. What does cursing time actually mean? Like, can you give an example?
Which one?
To curse the time. Can you give an example of cursing time?
Cursing the time. To curse the time.
Some people say, Ustad, the time is against us.
Head west on Manage Street.
Some talking ill about the time. It's because of the time this is happening, because of this month, because of this weather. If that was, if the weather wasn't like that, that would have not happened. Something people say, make statement like this. Yeah. So when you say this, you believe in this weather is creating all this. And if you believe that, this major shirk. But if you're saying it now, I don't believe it, but it's because of that. Then Allah, it happened by the will of Allah, but because of the weather. No, it's not because of the weather. It's Allah who, but will of Allah is happening. So something like this, people say a lot of the time. That how it falls under a curse. Yeah.
Some people say, also weather is killer. It's a bad weather. Look at the days.
Yeah. But look at the weather, such a bad luck, and they use things like these statements are not from. You're against the Tawheed of Allah. Because they should realize, هو الذي يقلب الليل والنهار. He's the one who changed the night and the day, not the weather. So yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's a sin, definitely.
Yeah, definitely sin, no doubt, sin. But as we have covered the categories of cursing the time, if it's first one, khalas, major shirk. Yeah, but we don't know what they meant by it. Most of the people don't understand, they don't know. So you explain to them. Yeah, that's what it is. Slip of a tongue, innit? Shaykh says, slip of a tongue. People say, they don't realize.
Okay, and if you knowingly say it's major.
Then, if you say knowingly, there's no excuse for you, is it?
Okay.
Khalas? Jazakumullah khair.
Yes, one more. Ustad. We name Abdul Rahman, all this, Abdul Rahim. Some people they name Rahima or.
Rahima is okay. Rahima, because Rahim, Allah Prophet named Rasul Rahim.
So is that allowed to give girls' name like?
These names are not, I won't recommend, because give them names of the wives of the Prophet, Khadija, Aisha, something like that, Fatima, Maryam, Rahima, because Rahim is used for Prophet, just Atta Rahimatun, it's okay, but these names are not, names should be given, I'm not saying it's haram, but we should give name to a female, name of the wife of the Prophet, the companions, things like that, the righteous companions, we should name them with that, not Rahima, but best to avoid that, give names of the companions, female companion.
Shaykh, is praying in the masjid compulsory upon bench? Because I've heard that there's some scholars who say that it's fard upon the bench you pray 5 times in a day, you can use the masjid. So I'm not really sure about that.
Okay, as for the Jama'ah, it's ikhtilaf between the scholars. Some of the scholars, Shaykhul-Islam, and I'm sure Shaykh Fawzan as well, some of the scholars, they believe that praying Jama'ah is a shartu sihha, it's a condition of accepting your salah, which means you have to pray Jama'ah, otherwise your salah will not be valid. Okay? unless you're ill, obviously. Okay, this is a khilaf on this, but I don't follow the opinion, because if you look at the hadith of Prophet ﷺ, when Ibn Makhtoum came, the muaddin, the blind muaddin, when he came to Prophet of Allah Azza wa Jal, and he said, "Ya Rasulullah, I come from long distance to pray Jama'ah. I have to come across mountain and all that. Can I not come sometime? Do you find an excuse for me not to come?" He says, "Okay." He said, "Okay, if it's like that, then you don't have to come." But then he said, okay, he stopped him. He said, "Do you hear the adhan?" He said, "Yes." Then you have to come to the masjid. So the ulama said, this opinion is that it's not wajib on you to pray jama'ah if you don't hear the adhan. Because Prophet, you don't ask him how tall you are, how fast you walk, and how strong you are. No, how far you are now. He said, "Do you hear the adhan?" He said, "Yes." So our Prophet made the reason adhan for you to come to the masjid. So if the reason is not there, it doesn't apply on you. So I spoke to one of the Shaykh here. In this country, 80% you don't hear the adhan. So in this country, they said praying jama'ah is not wajib unless you hear the adhan. You walking past Whitechapel, hear the adhan, you have to go and respond to the adhan. But second opinion is that it is not mandatory upon you to pray the jama'ah as long as you don't hear the adhan, because hearing adhan was the reason Prophet put in the hadith. He didn't say anything else to the muaddin. "Do you hear the adhan?" "Yes." Then you have to respond to the adhan. They apply to everyone. Okay? So if you're in a house, you don't hear the adhan, masjid is next to your house, akhi, how can you not go and pray jama'ah? Just because you don't hear the adhan, Allah can ask you, at least, you could have gone, but you didn't go. So 2 minutes away, walk to the masjid and look at the reward walking to the masjid. So if we at work, if we apply what you said, akhi, what you said, the brother, what you said is wajib, whatever people are working in the offices, the hukum different from here than Saudi. The hukum in Saudi is the same as the hukum here. If you're working in a town, there's no masjid, you have to pray in the office, yes, but you don't hear the adhan. You have to walk all the way to Whitechapel, you haven't got time. So you can't apply that hukum everywhere. Understand? You have to work, but you still have to pray. Okay? As long as you pray in office, or you have musalla maybe, you go and pray. In Roland Hospital, even though it's close to the masjid, we don't hear the adhan. But we have a musalla, we go pray in musalla jama'ah. Khalas, we fulfill the job. And second, we don't hear the adhan anyway, so it doesn't apply to us to pray in the masjid. Understand? So don't close your eyes and just walk. Okay? Know there's two different opinions. Know the illah, know the reason why it's wajib when you to go to the masjid. If you hear the adhan, there's no adhan, you can't hear the adhan. Okay, akhi, is that clear, yeah? Okay.
I heard if you say something like, "If I had done this," that's like a form of shirk.
Yeah, lawaf. It's going to come, the chapter going to come soon, inshallah. It can fall into shirk, yeah.
So let's say someone, they were on a bad diet for many years, and they were eating chocolate every day, sugar, and they know that if you keep this up, you're going to lose your teeth. Now 10 years later, they lose all of their teeth, and then they say to themselves, "Or if I had not eaten sugar, blah blah, all these years, I wouldn't be in this situation." Does that fall under?
It can fall under shirk. Basically, Allah in the Quran, "Inna kulla shayin khalaqna biqadar." We have to understand that everything is created by decree. So for you to say, for you to go through these difficulties, whatever illness is written by Allah, it's going to happen. Now for you to say, "If I didn't," that means you could have changed the decree. And it's decreed that it's going to happen. So you can't do it. You can't change it if you say "if" now, because that's written for you to have that illness. So for you to say that is wrong, because that's decreed by Allah. But you can say for future, "If I live for this amount of, I'm going to stop doing that." Okay? Like the Hadith of Prophet, he said that when he, regarding Ashura, so if I were to leave next, I will do 9 and 10. So for future, you can say "if." You haven't come yet. What is past, you can't use "if." Because are you trying to say you could have gone against the qadr of Allah? Are you denying the qadr of Allah that it's written for you, it's going to happen? If you say "if," that's what you meant. La. So,
If you say in the context of you learn a lesson,
Even though we don't use it like that. You can say, I've learnt lesson from it, I'm not going to do it again. Something like that. But don't use if. Because if it's the past and it's already happened and that's already decreed by Allah Azza wa Jal.
That's the same thing, bro. You know what you said? The lesson that you're applying for the future is that if you don't do these type of things,
But no, we're saying
to be more aware of what I'm doing.
what the scholars say, you try not to use the word if. The word, don't use the if. Say, I've learnt a lesson from it. Next time I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to continue eating like this. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So the chapter going to come, inshallah, in future. Yeah. Later it's going to come. We're going to cover this chapter, inshallah. So try to come. Okay, Akhi, okay, yeah.
What is this every
Every Tuesday. But next week I'm off for next month. I'm traveling. So when I come back, 31st of January, and the December, on January we'll start again, inshallah, Tuesday. So I mean, you can find out, brothers are here, they'll tell you, inshallah. Yeah. Any more questions, inshallah? Khalas? That's more.